Look at those palm trees, damn!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Wasn't able to do some streaming lately because I'm pretty busy. Not that busy, but you know, you know how it goes. We actually need to spot some new opportunities, cook some deals, and some shit, something like that. All right, so well, for today, I'm just going to do some just chatting video. I'm not going to do much. I'm not going to do any programming or whatnot. Maybe I'm going to play some game later, but yeah. I just wanted to share this kind of thing since it's actually quite getting hot topic regarding this about investment and shit and where does money come from and whatnot. Mind you that I'm not actually a professional advisor or a money advisor. I'm just a simple guy looking for some new things or new opportunities that we can get from the world. So, you know, shout out to Kana, by the way. Shout out to Kazu. How are you doing, Kazu? How is Australia? If you're watching this, well, kindly support. Give love. Spread some love. Follow me. Yep. Ingat sa Australia, Kazu. Update. Alright. So, I'm just doing this stream right now just to share the experience that I had, some knowledge that I gained, and you know, learning from the mistakes, from basic investment to stock market to, you know, overall relationship with the money. So again, I'm not a financial advisor or a professional guru and shit, so you know, due diligence. Don't take my word for it, because most of investments and ways to get money is actually different from person to person. So yeah. Well, basically, if you're going to ask me, the first topic that we have here is respect money. When I was in college, I got the freedom that I didn't had for a long time. So that was the first time that I'm actually going to be on my own. You know, basic doing your own decision kind of shit. So basically, I'm actually spending quite a lot and spending above my means at that time. Wasn't able to learn much at the time. I'm actually still looking into Bitcoin and stock market, but I'm not really. I really don't have an idea back then. I really don't have any idea back then regarding on how I can do it because I really don't have the capital. At the time, I really don't have a bank account, so to say. So that's the reason why I wasn't able to enter much on a different um, ventures, just like that. So basically, when I was in college, I'm spending lots of money doing things, not caring anything, because it's basically free money. At the same time, I got my um, freedom that I had when I was a kid and in high school. So you need to actually respect the money, as in like, because money isn't the root of all evil, so to say, as they always tell you or told you as a kid. Money isn't the root of all evil. It's people. It's actually people who is the root of all evil. So money is just a basic commodity. Perhaps it's just a piece of paper that we gave value into. Um, so money doesn't really think anything about you. Doesn't think. It's the people who gave the notion that money or that piece of paper is actually evil. So yeah, you actually just need to respect the money that you have. So if you're going to have your salary, you really need to think about it on where you're going to put those money, because once you let go of that money, there's a big chance that you won't be able to gain that back. And that's the reason why you need to respect it, because it's a commodity. It's a piece of paper that people put trust on, that we actually perceive a specific value that it can get a specific thing. I think based on the research and the videos that I've watched, that the money or the currency, the world currency, was actually backed by gold back then. But as of this time or this moment, I think that we're actually relying to the trust of the people. It's just a fiat currency. It doesn't have any a basis to it. It's just a trust of the people. So yeah, you need to respect the money that you have. You need to think on where you're going to spend it. It's a commodity. It's not actually a root of all evil, as they say. So there's that. I'm going to tell you a story regarding, and by the way, I think this will be just a short video or a stream, since I'm gonna be doing some stuff later. So I'm going to tell you a story. From early on when I was a kid, I actually had started a business. And this is actually a true story. My mother can back this. When I was in grade 4 or 4th grade, I actually asked my mother to buy me a bag of candy. I can't really remember the specific brand of that candy. So basically, the plan that I had is I'm going to sell that piece of candies 1 peso each, or I mean 2 pesos each, so that I can be able to gain 1 peso per piece of candy. However, since the cost of putting that business isn't actually coming out from my pocket, is actually a free credit or free money from my mother. So basically, if you're going to count that, I was able to gain at least 100 peso or 50 to 100 peso with that bag of candy. So it's free money. I did the business. I sold the candies. I was able to make a profit. So that is 100% profit. Um, in high school, I'm not really sure what I did. on my first year of high school. But what I can say is that I'm actually accepting computer projects like printing stuff, um, the whole enchilada, like if they need some paperwork that needs to be done, I'm going to type that shit. So I'm going to specifically price that, for example, 50 pesos per project, or yeah, 50 pesos per project. And by second year high school, I was able to learn programming with the help of our good mentor and a good friend. Sir Ronald Rivera is actually the reason why I know how to code. He actually taught us on how to do it. Is actually pretty good. He actually did it for free. He didn't ask for any a monetary value or anything about that. So he taught us for free about programming. So at that time, for projects, computer projects, I accept a different computer project. So basically, I owned the 3 sections of that second year level. I'm not really sure about the section names because it's a Catholic school. It's a private Catholic school, so I really can't remember the exact section. But for those 3 sections, I actually owned them, because I'm actually accepting projects by projects and projects from different students. So I actually priced that 50 pesos each per project. I'm not so sure. I think I lowballed the pricing for that because we're just a student. So I think I get them to pay 20 pesos per project. So those are basic HTML, CSS kind of thing. Moving on to the third year, I think we did some pretty much basic programming with Visual Basic. So every project that I accept is 100 peso. So I'm actually, earning things along the way. That just me being a student, I'm actually earning things back then. But most of the time, I really didn't respect the money that I had. So the fact of the matter is, those money, for example, we have at least 30 students who asked me to do some project, or let's lower that to 25 times 50. I'm actually earning 1,250 per project back then, if I'm not mistaken, because I really can't remember the numbers. But this is just a crude estimate. So 25 students times 50 pesos each. So that's 1,250 pesos income without any cost of putting it, since I'm just exchanging my free time creating those projects. So basically that's 100% return, maybe 200% return. Yeah. Moving to the 4th year of high school, I actually earned the same thing, because every project, every computer project, or video editing for some subjects, like English, Filipino, history, or social studies, something like that. If there's a requirement to create a video, I'll be the one who's going to edit that. If there's any projects that involves technology, let's say computer projects, video editing, photo editing, banner, something like that, I always took that project and make profit out of it. So I'm just basically exchanging the set of skills that I had back then into money. So there's that. Moving on to the college days. First year college, first semester. Most of the projects that I accept is just a basic one, because maybe you thought that those IT students who actually enrolled for the degree is actually passionate about the degree. It's actually not. Most of the time, they just don't have any option on the degree, or maybe they really don't have any set of direction at that point. I made some money by providing code to those students. Whenever they need code, they just provide their, what do you call this, flash drive. I'm just going to copy the code that I had, make some alterations regarding that code, and just paste it on the flash drive and return it with exchange of money, of course. So yeah, it's just me doing some little gigs at the time. So basically, that's the story that I have regarding money. From early on, I'm not so sure what year was it, when I was in fourth grade or grade 4 of elementary, or in grade school. But that moment that I actually sold those candies and had actually thought I need to earn a specific return. So instead of me just selling it to the SRP price of 1 peso per candy, I actually sold that to 2 pesos per candy. So it's not just candy that I sold back then, it's I really can't remember the name of that chocolate thing. The round chocolate and the peanut bar, something like that. So yeah, it's good. That's the experience and the story that I had with, you can call that entrepreneurship. It's actually quite funny. On that early age, I wasn't, it's actually quite different. I was able to earn that amount of cash at that age, but of course, being a kid, I really don't know about finance and whatnot back then, so I used that money to buy toys. Of course, for high school, I used those money to um, buy food, giving treats to the friends, hang out, something like that. All right. So let me jump to the point in time, which is the topic that we have. I started writing everything. So basically, when I was in college, I had a financial or family problem, and financial problem too, because my father just got sick and was diagnosed with a kidney failure. So what happened is that I am actually forced to stop my study. So I wasn't able to finish college. I was able to finish. I'm supposed to be third year at the next semester, but wasn't able to finish my school due to the fact that we really don't have money. That's year 2017. I think it's August of 2017. At that point, I actually think. Oh, let me backtrack for the story. Because way back in 2013, I actually spotted the opportunity to invest or mine Bitcoin. This is actually the biggest loss that I missed regarding investment or making profit, because I actually saw the potential of Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency or a future money, something like that. Way back in 2013, started hearing about Bitcoin 2013, and had seen the potential for growth on the year 2014, the following year. Because the fact of the matter is, there's actually not much who's doing Bitcoin mining at that time. Basically, Bitcoin miners at the time is just using a normal computer and normal laptops to mine this thing. Maybe some are using ASIC miners, but that's just it. They actually don't know about cryptocurrency and whatnot. But doing a research, I've seen that the US or the Americans and some European countries actually have this big demand regarding Bitcoin, because everyone's back then is using Bitcoin to purchase this, to purchase that, and at the same time there's a lot of Bitcoin usage or cryptocurrency demand and dark web, since they want to be anonymous and paying, so they really can't just use a simple payment method. The big advantage of using cryptocurrency is that it's actually anonymous. Yeah, there's a worldwide ledger, but that ledger is actually gibberish if you're just going to look at it. It's actually the ASIC miners or the Bitcoin miners was actually computing the hash or the algorithms that you know, if there's any transaction, they need to actually compute that transaction, verify that algorithm, update the worldwide ledger so everybody's miner is actually updated. So you really can't just cheat and produce a specific Bitcoin on your Bitcoin wallet. I actually did try to convince my parents to enter the market for Bitcoin. Back then I wanted to mine Bitcoin because the price of Bitcoin in 2015 is not that big. Let me check. Bitcoin price in 2014. No. In Philippines. Or let's just base it to US. Let me just use the crypto. Bitcoin. Okay. So let's try to check the year 2015. Was I able to go back? No. I really need to check that. Bitcoin price. Yeah. So if you're going to take a look at this graph, the price of Bitcoin back then isn't that great. It's actually minimal at the time. Yeah, 2014 maybe $100. So that translates to current money of maybe $100 is 4,823 or peso. So Bitcoin isn't much of a big deal back then. It's minuscule. It's basically asking different person. I'm asking my cousins, I'm asking my friend about if they knew about Bitcoin, and they actually don't know about Bitcoin. But in other countries, especially the first world country, there's a big demand on this Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and there's little supply. So I actually tried to convince my parents to at least put in 100,000 peso. So if you're going to compute that, translate that to we're going to translate that to dollars. That's $2,073. That's 100,000 peso that I'm asking back then, so that we can put up mining or we can mine Bitcoin. Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, I've been trying to convince my parents when I was in high school. That's way back 2013, 2014. Moving to college, I'm still trying to convince them to give me money so that we can be able to mine Bitcoin. So that's around 2015, 2016. 2016 is the time that I had this issue with financial problem, because at the time we're having trouble paying the hospital bills and stuff. I'm also trying to explain this to my roommate way back in college. So I'm hoping that he might listen, but he didn't. I was forced to stop taking or studying for college way back August of 2017. So I was in our home province and hometown for August of 2017 until December or March of 2018. During the December period, which is I think around first week of December, December 9th, December 10 of 2017. I didn't know actually. My roommate way back in college actually sent me a message regarding Bitcoin, because he saw the rise of the Bitcoin. So that's the time that the Bitcoin prices is actually up. It actually peaked at and reached almost 500,000 pesos. So basically, if you're going to translate that, so that's a 500,000. Actually reach $10,365 at that time. So that's a big loss of opportunity, because basically, if you're going to think about it, even if we put in $100 to mine at least one Bitcoin, so that's one Bitcoin, 500,000 pesos. So that's 500,000 peso minus the actual cost that I'm asking way back in 2013, 2014, 2015. So that's actually 100,000 pesos to put up the Bitcoin mining. So at least we can mine 1 or 2 Bitcoins. Compare that to the profit of 500,000 peso on December of 2017, deduct that, and there's a profit of 400,000. That's a big waste of opportunity. At the time, being a kid, I actually blamed my parents because they didn't listen. Yeah, it's actually a waste opportunity, but at that point, 2017, going back to the topic, I actually started writing everything. trying to spot the next Bitcoin, something like that. I actually started writing all of the ideas that I had, the things that is utmost important regarding making money. This is actually the notebook that I've been writing on. It's not actually full. It's a letter. I think it's a maroon leather pocket notebook. It's actually this big. That's my hand. Well, I'm not actually using the same pen, but it's been a while. Been using different pens. I actually write the important numbers like tax number, social security, student ID number, field health, piggy big, home loan fund, membership ID, passport. Well, passport. I was able to get this in 2018. Yeah. I also put in the accounts that I have, bank accounts, different email addresses, the ideas, the things that I've learned about assets, emergency fund, trust funds, the viable business ideas, and how to analyze stock market, MACD, how to read charts, business structure like sole proprietorship. Yeah, it's not actually empty. There's actually can see that it's actually full of notes. It's not actually fake thing. It's I've actually put my mind to it. So that's the plan. Alright, so at that point I actually started writing everything, because you'll never know, those ideas might lead you, and there might be a big opportunity in the near future, and they actually need to remember those. So basically what I write in there is the most basic stuff. If you're actually watching this, if anyone will be watching this, I encourage you to read the things in Investopedia. This is actually quite helpful. Most of the knowledge that I had regarding stock market, how to analyze and know their jargons, their terms, it's actually found here. For example, let's find MACD, moving average and convergence divergence. What is it? You can be able to see the complete definition, at the same time the explanation to it. Yeah, on how to use the MACD to track the market, so to say. So that's actually that. Let me adjust my OBS here. Okay, so that's actually that way on how to use the knowledge that you can learn to have at least an edge regarding investing and something like that. So writing everything in a piece of paper or a notebook is actually the thing that I learned from my father. He always scribble and write down things in his notebook. So basically the plans, he's a farmer, so he actually compute the cost and try to foresee the specific returns that he can gain on a specific crop or cropping period, something like that. Yeah, writing everything in a piece of paper is actually helpful, since nobody can see this or hack this, since it's not computerized. At the same time, nobody will going to read that piece of paper or notebook, since most of the people that I know doesn't read shit. If they see a long listed sentences or paragraphs, they actually do TLDR, or too long to read kind of thing, which is actually pretty bad. I've actually learned from that mistake. You actually need to read the whole thing in order for you to understand. At the same time, avoid suing or trouble on contracts. Yeah. So apart from writing everything, you need to learn from your past experience and mistakes and don't repeat it. Yeah, some of the people that might know me will actually going to think that, well, dude, who are you to talk regarding money, since we know you back way in college or high school and elementary, that you actually spend your money like like a water or something like that. Well, I've actually learned from that mistake. Actually had those experience as a reference. I'm not going to do it again. So if I spend my money way back in college or high school or elementary like it's the end of the world, I'm not going to do that right now, since I actually have a plan and I have a goal. It's not just a dream, I have a goal. Yeah. So yeah. The fact of the matter is, if you had experience or done something that isn't productive, or if you've done something that you haven't got in return, just don't repeat that. It's just common sense. Maybe some individuals wasn't able to see that kind of thing. This is actually the part of a consciousness. You actually need to be aware on your surroundings, spatial awareness, something like that. So yeah. Yep. Moving to the next question. Next topic. It's do your own due diligence. Basically, due diligence is just doing the homework. I'm a kind of person who's going to research about a topic that interests me, to be specific, repeatedly from time to time. So basically, if I read about investing in stocks back then, I'm not just going to rely on one article, two articles, one YouTube video, and that's it. I'm going to learn and try to research the heck out of it so that I can be able to get some edge. So basically, I need to learn on how to read the chart. So basically, I've learned the two basic way of analyzing the market: fundamental analysis and technical analysis. I'm not a master regarding those topics. I just know the specific information, and I understood what that means. I'm not big of a definition kind of guy. I'm actually bad in memorizing things, but once I understand something, and if I understood that topic correctly, I think I'm going to do pretty good about it. So basically, reading the chart for specific investment. I'm not too technical about the technical analysis. I'm not about that kind of guy who's going to draw this what do you call this again? Resistance, breakpoint, something like that. I'm just going to use the MACD. It's not actually, it's the indicator. That's the indicator. The moving average, convergence and divergence. This is actually quite useful. I'm going to talk more about this later. Oh yeah, going to talk more about that later. I'm going to explain that. So do diligence, doing your own homework. You actually need to research about that topic. So for example, you're going to enter the market on a specific sector, let's say banking industry or agriculture. You actually need to learn, not actually the whole DNA of that industry, but you actually need to learn about it. I'm not so sure who said this, but please don't quote me on this. Someone actually said that don't invest if you don't understand it. So basically, you need to build the foundation. You actually need to understand what you're getting into, not just putting your money on that specific thing, thinking and hoping that you're going to gain a reward, even though that you're not. So yeah, doing research, read articles. Don't just rely on one article, because in today's world, information can be easily faked. So you need to actually watch different YouTube videos. We need to read different articles regarding that, and you need to make use of Google. Come on, it's actually the 21st century. At the same time, we actually have internet connection all over the world. Maybe some parts of Africa or Mediterranean or whatnot, or the desert doesn't have an internet, but most of the parts of the world had internet. So basically, you can just Google the things that you want to Google, topics that you want to discuss, how to read charts, for example. It's actually pretty easy to find this kind of information. Again, what you need to do is read. Maybe some of you are going to too long didn't read, or TLDR. You're actually building a bad habit and bad behavior, because once somebody will going to provide a report, if you're running a business or a contract, and you're not that keen on reading long sloppy text like this, boring text. Yeah, I know it's boring, but you're actually going to miss something if I'm going to read that. And that's the reason why they put in these articles and at the same time specific details about it. Yeah. So yeah, by doing my homework and due diligence, I was able to learn that this kind of chart does mean something. So basically, the opening price for color green bars or candlesticks, so they call it, is actually at the bottom. So the opening price is here and the closing price is up top. For the red, this is actually the opening price, and this is the closing price. These small lines on this candlesticks are called wicks. So basically, someone sold their share pretty hefty price. They actually drive the price up, and at this point, someone drove the price down until it reaches bottom. Once they were successful on driving the price down, if you look on this bar below the chart, is actually called volume. This is the trading volume. So basically, someone had purchased a lot of shares on this, well, basically they're actually buying shares at this point, and once they're able to, you know, drive the price down, be able to get that to 50 cents, they actually drive the price up. And as you can see here, once the price is actually higher than the bought price, they all will going to sell this. So basically, someone dump a big chunk of shares and was able to sell this at 54 cents. So basically they bought this at 51 to 50. They sell it at 53, 54, and 55. And then the stack collapses. I'm going to talk more about this stack later, because I was a victim by not reading. That's the reason why I'm not going to TLDR, or too long didn't read again. I know, this stream is kind of boring, which is my intention. I actually talk like this to make people bored on these topics, because actually that will be an edge. The reason for that is I still have this knowledge. I'm trying to share it, but most people won't listen. Yeah. So going back, do your own diligence is actually helpful, or doing your own homework or research, whatever you call it. As long as you're researching about that specific topic, that will be a great advantage for you. Right. So moving forward, I think this is 2018. I started to save money for an emergency fund. So what is an emergency fund? But by definition, this is an emergency fund. It's just saved up money that you're not going to spend, even if you wanted to spend it. But this money is only needed to be spent on a dire situation. You know, for example, you had an accident. You can't pay your rent, or your family member got sick and needs money, something like that. As long as it's a dire situation, you can use emergency fund. So basically, the layman's term for emergency fund is just a savings account, or just pure cash. Maybe you're earning that in a jar. Yeah. So that's it. It's the emergency fund that will be used only for emergency purposes. Not that kind of emergency that, oh shit, I actually don't have the money to buy this thing. Maybe it's a phone upgrade, or upgrade on your computer. Just don't. Don't use emergency fund to do anything unless it's an emergency, a dire emergency. You can definitely put that emergency fund savings in a high interest account, and mind you that you really don't need to invest the emergency fund. You need the emergency fund to be liquid. Just don't think to invest the emergency fund, because you really need to have that cash right away. So by investing the emergency fund, you're actually defeating the purpose of it. Maybe you're going to say that savings account has small interest, the money is not moving. Yeah, well, my friend, you're actually wrong, because there's actually bank accounts, so-called high interest accounts, wherein the interest is actually bigger than time deposit. Time deposits boast an interest of 1% or 1.2, something like that, but high interest account will give you 4% or 3.5%. I'm going to talk more about that later on because I actually have this lined up. It says here current investments. I'm going to talk more about that high interest savings account later. Moving forward, started to enter stock market on 2018, right? Yeah. After saving, apart from the emergency fund, after saving specific amount of money that I can be able to enter the stock market, I actually learned on how to trade on this. I actually use BDO Nomura as a platform because it's much easier to use. You really don't need to file papers like Cole Financial, but Cole Financial is actually quite good because if you have the, what tier is it? If you have the right subscription for Cole Financial, you'll actually going to have an active chart included on that subscription. For BDO Nomura, the current chart is actually end of day or EOD, so it's not actually quite useful during the market. So that's the reason why I'm actually using Instagrams for charts during market hours. Yeah, BDO Nomura needs to up their game and should include an active chart rather than end of the day charts. So, investors or day traders can be able to at least monitor the performance of the stock. Yeah, so I entered the stock market. I actually didn't purchase a lot of blue chip stocks because blue chip stocks will tend to, over time, will going to go up. However, small, medium, and emerging market kind of thing will going to make a lot of profit because their stock may jump from 55 cents to 10 peso in a matter of, let's say, a week. So it's a basic pump and dump scheme by those big budgeted day traders and investors. So if you're a small investor and day trader, you can actually profit from it too, since if you know to analyze the chart, for example this MACD chart here. So basically, I actually forgot the specific term, but this is the golden crossover. I wasn't able to. Yeah. So golden cross and death cross. So basically any lines of this MACD, if the blue and red lines is actually going down and had intersect, let's say for example this, once the line or red line and blue line is actually intersect and you can actually see the lines trajectory to go down, that's actually called a death crossover or death cross. So what it means is that there's a big chance, based from the historic data, that the price will going to go down, basically go down. So if we're going to take a look at the chart above on this part here, after they've sold their shares and a hefty amounts, you can be able to see that they're actually started to drive the price down, and that what triggers the death crossover. So if you're going to see that, you can definitely go ahead and buy the stock. So you can buy at this rate, buy the stock. As long as it's going down, buy more, buy low, buy low. And once you can see that the blue line is actually going up, it had intersect with the red line. This is actually called the golden crossover, or gold crossover, or gold cross. This signifies it's time to sell because the price will going to go up. Yeah. So that's it. That's basically the thing that I learned on my first time of day trading in stock market when I was in Baguio City, in Philippines. Here in Philippines. I was able to make a return. It's not that big of a return, but I was able to, maintain the current capital that I have. Because this is actually the time where I experiment, test the idea that I have regarding stock market. I actually had some losses, but I had some gains too, so it's actually leveled out. I wasn't able to make that much at the time, but yeah. So there's that. It's actually quite easy to open an account if you have a BDO or existing BDO savings account. You can definitely use the online credentials that you have for the website to BDO Nomura. You can just deposit the amount that you want to use, for example 10,000, 5,000. Deposit that to BDO Nomura and you can definitely use that immediately to buy stocks. And if you're going to sell it and someone fulfill the order for that specific ask price, well, the settlement may take at least 3 business days in order for you to get that money and be able to withdraw it. So there's that. Calculated risk versus gambling. So yeah, calculated risk is actually, or taking risk in general is actually not a bad thing. It's a good thing as long as it's calculated. Calculated risk will lead you to prosperity if you know how to use it, because taking risk without knowing anything on what specific risk that you're going to have or get compared to the return that you're going to have, it's like gambling. You're just doing gambling. It's not actually taking risk, it's gambling. So by definition, by definition, calculated risk. Calculated risk. Let's look at the base definition. A risk that you consider worth taking because the result, if it is successful, will be so good. So basically, if you're going to take calculated risk, you actually know that you're going to have a return. And the odds of it is high. So basically, let me tell you a story about taking calculated risk. When I was in high school, most of us are big fans of basketball at the time. The different NBA teams, it's actually quite exciting. And at the same time, if there's an event for boxing, that would be Manny Pacquiao versus a specific boxer. Most of us is actually going to bet on who's going to win. So basically, since I'm not making money most of the time, since the computer projects and other projects that I'm having my revenue way back when I was in high school is actually seasonal. So maybe end of the school year or beginning of the school year that we're going to have projects like those that I can get my money on. You know, most of the time I rely to my allowance coming from my parents. So yeah, going back to the betting, we actually do betting or bets for this NBA teams. What I would do is that I will going to bet 50 pesos on a different team and 100 pesos on a team that I knew were going to win, or maybe that has my heart on. So basically I'm hedging. What I'm doing back then, I didn't actually realize that, but if you're going to take a look at it, if you know the terms, is I'm actually hedging the risk. So even if the team that I like actually loses the game, I'm still going to have that 50 pesos back. And I actually didn't have any loss due to the fact that that money didn't came from me. It's actually coming from my parents. So even if the team that I really like, for say Miami Heat or Dallas, we're going to lose, at least I'm still going to have that 50 pesos back and other 50 pesos from those who bet against me. Basically, if my um if my team or my favorite team will going to win, I'm actually just going to lose 50 pesos compared to 100. So those who bets against me will going to give their 50 pesos. So it's a win-win situation. I'm not going to lose. That's the so-called taking a calculated risk. You actually know what the risk is, and whatever happens on that match, I'm still going to win. So that's hedging and stock market. So basically that's the basic principle that I can provide because that's what I've experienced. Yeah. Moving on. Looking both sides of the coin. So basically for this, after you've done your research, your due diligence, you actually need to look the pros and cons if you're going to invest on this kind of thing. The main reason is there might be a situation that you always look at the pro side. You didn't actually see the con or the consequences or the negative track for it. So basically by looking both sides of the coin, you'll actually going to understand which weighs more. You can actually balance it out. Most people actually one-sided. If example they see a stock that is going to rise, for example, a specific stock, they're going to put in all their money and expect that they're going to win. However, they didn't know that that company is actually losing money at the same time in the verge of bankruptcy. So that's the thing that you want to check. It's basically taking calculated risk too, because you actually need to do your own diligence and look both sides of the coin in order for you to take calculated risk. So all of these topics is actually connected with each other. Next topic here, you can't avoid having loss but don't get emotional. Yeah, this is the time way back in 2019, I think January or February, that I lost a hefty amount in stock market due to the fact that I wasn't able to watch the trend of the market. So I wasn't able to make a proper decision since I'm currently working at the time full time. I'm actually working full time and I wasn't able to do my own diligence. I lost a hefty amount of my holdings due to the fact that the price had really sunk. If I can remember, that's actually 20% loss on the value that I bought it. So that's the reason why if you're getting too emotional on investment and stock market while you're trying to be logical, that will going to hinder on how you make decisions. So you really need to be calm. At the same time, just think of it like a game of some sort. So at the end of the day, the money that you earn and at the same time the balances on your bank account is just a scorecard or a score for a game. So you're not going to win every time. Maybe if you have an insider information, you can, but that's actually deemed illegal. And at the same time, if they detect that you're making so much money out of it, and the basic kind of thing, some turncoat will going to be involved in that shit. So yeah, by not being too emotional on doing things like this, it's actually pretty good because at least you can think straight, make a proper decision. The basic stuff. So yeah, after entering the stock market, the growth rate of my investment is, let's say, yeah, I actually had a 20 percent loss on January of 2019, but I was able to diversify my portfolio. Meaning, if you're going to diversify, there's diversification is just that you're going to enter a different sector so you can minimize the loss potential, because that will going to be average out. So instead of you having that 20% loss on that spreadsheet that you have, you actually can be able to minimize it to at least say 2%, 11% at the end of the day. So yeah, after having that loss, I actually had started to look on other investment vehicles that I can get into. I did actually have a lending business. It's a peer-to-peer lending at the time. I can't remember the interest, but I think I'm within the legal, the 6% interest rate. So I lend out 3,000 increment amounts, 5,000 increment amounts, something like that, and I put in an interest of 6% for a short-term loan. Let's say 2 months, 3 months. It's actually a pretty good return because I have a lot of peers that I lend it to. So yeah, and also I've done some research at this point. I had started to look on retail treasury bonds, the bond market. Corporate bond isn't much. I really don't have the money to buy corporate bonds. So yeah, treasury bonds, not that much. Retail treasury bonds is actually quite affordable. If you're going to take a look at it, progressive bonds too is actually quite affordable. Price bonds is affordable. You can definitely get those. Those is Those bonds actually boast around, if I can remember this correctly, that would be 4% interest rate per annum. So the maturity is actually 3 to 4 years for retail treasury bonds. They'll go into auction since that bond is actually transferable. They'll go into do auction from time to time. Some bondholders, if they're going to need their money, they can actually sell those bonds to different investor. So yeah, I'm actually late at that time, so I wasn't able to guard or check the specific offering dates. So I'm actually 1 month delayed on that part. So yeah, looking to different investment vehicles since I wasn't able to get into cryptocurrency at the time, safe and backed by the government bonds are actually quite useful. I wasn't able to enter any market. I'm just holding my shit on stock market, but I'm starting to look for different investment vehicles at the time. So again, you need to track everything. This is what I currently understand for some people, because they actually don't track their investment. If you have a quite diversified investment, you actually need to put into a spreadsheet and be able to monitor the specific gains or returns that you have or losses. The reason why you want to put everything and track everything from expenses to the current assets that you have, if there's any liquid or illiquid assets, you need to put in every liabilities and expenses that you have, deduct that to the assets, so that you can be able to check and play with the numbers on how you're going to reach this point, because there's actually two ways of thinking. For example, you want to buy a property or you want to buy a device. Perhaps you want to upgrade your computer. Some people might say, I can't afford it. I don't have the money. But there's actually an alternative thinking about it. A second way of thinking, which is how can I afford it? Or how can I be able to afford it? How can I be able to get the money? So basically, it's just you thinking ahead of time on how you can be able to get that money without loan or debt. Because taking loans in the debt is actually bad habit and practice. Those interest rates that are going to be added monthly, yearly, are going to cost your life, son. Lol. Okay. So yeah, tracking everything. I actually have this spreadsheet. So basically, when I'm in stock market, I actually just got out. This is not actually an updated data. I actually just got out in Philippine stock market. But this is the spreadsheet that I'm using to track the performance and things like that. So basically, this is a category where I put in the reason why I bought. Let me enlarge this to you, my friends, so that you can be able to see it. So this is just a category where I put in value, growth, and dividend. These are the reasons why I enter or get that specific stock. So basically, if I see the value out of it, maybe it's a service sector or financial, maybe a bank, the value of that pretty good, yeah. And then the action, let's say buy. Sector for a bank is actually financial, let's say BDO. video. Buy date, I'm going to enter that. For example, I bought that last Friday, so that's 20. Haven't sold it yet, so I'm not going to put that. Maybe I bought 2,000 shares. Buy price is, what's the BDO's stock price? Well, they actually, whoa, this is wrong, my friend. So the closing price, closing. Let me just pull up the chart. So the closing price is 104.70. So 104.70 per share. So you actually spend 281,000 buying that stock. The broker's commission for BDO Nomura is 20 pesos. Value added tax is 2 pesos and 40 centavo, or 240. So the net debited amount, or the total cost, is actually 281,422.40. And let's say the price this upcoming Monday, it actually fallen down to 139.1. The current market price is actually 278, which is loss of 3,380 pesos. It's actually 0.01% loss. Yeah, it's a 1% loss. Let's put it at this percent. Yeah. So basically, this spreadsheet will be updated from time to time regarding the current price. For example, it goes up and shoots up to 142. Plain and simple. At least I'll be able to check the changes. At the same time, the unrealized gain or profit. Unrealized profit or gain is actually a simple term to a gain that isn't actually converted into cash yet. So once I sell this, and be able to make profit, I can be able to make a profit of 2,577.60. So that's a 1% increase on the bought price, or the total cost. So yeah, I also put in the capital amount. Let's say 300,000. Yeah, this is not actually the accurate numbers. I'm just putting this as an example, but yeah, you get the point. Maybe, hopefully. So you can also play the numbers. You can put in a specific stop loss. Maybe you can't tolerate to lose 1,000. So that's a stop loss, meaning if you see the unrealized profit and loss had fallen to a negative 1,000, you actually need to sell the stock and reinvest that money back to a different stock. So stop loss will just going to prevent you losing more money for a stock that isn't going to bounce back. So yeah, that's the basic example on how to use the chart that I'm currently using. It's actually quite useful because I can actually play the numbers. I can actually play out different scenarios that I wanted to, so that I can at least foresee the strategy that I might going to do. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, track everything from expenses, your investments. If you can put in the calculator for that specific investment, you can definitely put that here. It's actually quite useful to have those kind of numbers that you can read and see and base on your decision. Most of the people I know may say, I'm just going to trust my gut because I know that this investment or this stock is actually will going to up or will going up, or is actually a blue chip stock. Well, blue chip stock will have its downfall, but time difference, it will going to go up. But look at ABS or ABS CBN. They had this issue regarding their franchise and they got their stock cut off head on. They actually owned a stock of ABS on 2019. Um, the bad thing or the bad move that I wasn't able to see is that I just sold my ABS CBN stock for a cheaper price, but I wasn't able to reinvest the remaining money to GMA, which is a different a network or TV network here in the Philippines. That's actually a big mistake because the stock of GMA actually skyrocketed on March of this year or February of 2020. I wasn't able to foresee that, or saw that specific angle, but yeah, it's just a missed opportunity again. But it's okay. I'm actually doing good as of this moment. So yeah, moving to the current investments that I have, I'm not going to show the specific details of my financials since I'm not obligated to do so. I don't even show this to my parents and cousins. I'm the only son. I actually don't have any siblings, but my financial shit is mine and mine alone. Oh yeah. Here's how I track the investment and current portfolio that I have. So basically, I subtract all of the expenses right on to the current amount and balances of these accounts. So basically, BDO payroll, UBP ePay card. This is actually expiring. This is my old payroll card from Baguio, and Pag-ibig loyalty card plus and Paymaya is just I'm just actually using this to receive the payroll and as a cash card. I'm not actually staking my money this into these accounts because, as you know, a simple um savings account is actually giving you 0.125% interest rate. The good thing is I was able to find high interest savings account for my emergency fund, so that at least the amount of my money isn't going to be depreciated due to the fact of the we actually have this so-called inflation rate. So in order to protect your capital amount, you actually need to protect your money from inflation rate. There's two ways for you to do that. You can invest your money and expect it to grow if it's has a specific fixed rate of return. But if you had just extra money laying around, say emergency fund, something like that, you need to actually put that into an high interest accounts, which is I currently have right now, and is ING. It's an fintech or financial technology bank. It's actually an online bank, registered, fully registered in with SEC and actually PDIC insured. So it's actually a legit bank. They actually don't have branches because it's actually just pure online transactions. In order for you to open this high interest account, you can go to their web app. I mean, it's actually it's actually an app that you can download. So I don't know if you can see this. This is actually their app. That's the app. It's ING. The way for you to transfer or deposit, like say money into it, is you can just transfer your, or you can just transfer from your current bank, or if you will going to deposit a check, you actually need to use their app to do so. So that ING offers 4% fixed interest rate. I also have Security Bank Money Builder. It boasts interest rate of 3.5. Maybe you're thinking that, well, it's just 4% interest rate. It's just 3.5 interest rate. Mind you that the time deposit that will lock your account for, let's say, 2 years, 1 year, or 3 years only offers 1% per annum. This is actually 4% per annum and 3.5% per annum. So basically, this high interest savings account actually defeats the time deposit. Time deposit's interest. So if you're the type of person that wants to look into the numbers, let me show you this. So basically, having a 5 or 4% return from let's say 100 or 200,000 is actually much better. 4% of 200,000 is actually much better return compared to a 5,000 amount of cash. So basically, if you're going to stick your money to it, 4% interest, the dividend is 8,000 minus the withholding tax. That's total deduction of 1,600. You can actually have the dividend of 6,400. So at the end of the year, you're going to have 206,400 compared to by just having 5,000. It's just 160 by the end of the year. So Adrian or Ian, what's the point? My point is that it's better to have a big cash to be put into a high interest account rather than 4 digits. You actually need to have a good amount of cash in order for you to reap the benefits into this. So let's say if you were able to if you can be able to earn at least 250,000, yeah, it's a big dividend. It's actually 8,000. That's post-tax. This is pre-tax. This is per annum. 4%. It's actually growth of 3.2 or 3.20 growth of your income. And let's say compared to a BDO payroll account or the regular savings account that the regular banks offer, 125. Let's show that 2.125. So think of this. Let me create so we can compare. So this is the BDO regular savings account. This is actually the ING high interest accounts. This is Money Builder by Security Bank. So if we're going to put that specific amount that I've told you and compare this to the high interest account, so this is 4%. It's 4%, and this is 3.5. So by going to the usual route, which most of Filipinos do, if we're going to deposit 250 on that account, by the end of the year you're just going to earn 250 peso. And for example, you're going to reinvest that dividend or interest back into the account and let it grow. After 3 years, you just made 750 pesos and 75 cents. So by going to the high interest bank accounts, you can definitely grow the initial. Let's just check that. From 250, after 3 years, you can grow that to 274. Same thing with 3.5%, 250 to 271. So basically it's 3.2 growth. Of course, it's already taxed, and 2.8. So that's the thing. You're actually putting your money to a high interest account to most especially preserve the buying power of that money, at the same time earn some additional cash. So high interest savings account protects your money from depreciation due to the fact that there's an inflation. And at the same time, if you're going to treat this as your emergency fund, I think you'll be fine. You're gonna find this really helpful. This is actually my emergency fund, the ING, and this is my super emergency fund, the Money Builder. I really don't I really don't touch the balances on this account. I actually add more monthly from the salary that I have and from the return of investment from some of the stocks and shit. But yeah, so I treat this like a cash cards to pay online, to purchase online, withdraw to ATMs. I don't actually withdraw to this. I'm not actually withdrawing or taking any amount out of these accounts. I only put in money to it. I think I have that Money Builder card. I actually have a passbook too for Money Builder. Let me cover the important shit. Okay. Yeah. That is the debit card on that Money Builder. I also have the passbook in my cabinet. I usually bring the passbook whenever I go to security bank to deposit the cash. But most of the time I just transfer money online. But if I want the passbook to be updated so that I can be able to see the glimmering 5, I'm sorry, it's not actually 5 because I actually just added money to it, so it's actually 6 digits. Yeah. In order for me to see the glimmering update of that passbook, I need to bring that. Yeah. So yeah, moving forward, these are the current investments that I have. These color schemes is actually indicating a specific set of investment. So let's go to the info section. So green is super safe. It's a short to long term, backed by the government with fixed returns. It's actually risk-free investment, or at least the risk is non-existent. Safe, which is blue, it's a short to long term, managed by professionals. The return is actually at least 80%, or fixed return, it's low risk. Risky is a short to long term with just 50 return probability. It's actually high risk. High and risky, or just high risk. Yeah, high risk is a short to long term, has the highest risk return probabilities, minuscule. It's actually 30 to 40%. This is the gambling type investments. So the legends for L is liquid asset. You can just turn it easily to cash, and a liquid asset, which is a property or a material that you can just turn to cash quickly. And this dot right here, or the star, is just it does signify that the risk may differ depending on the variable on that investment. Yeah. So for stock market, I actually tag that as a risky investment, due to the fact that anytime can happen a collapse, or you know, market crash. At the same time, there's no guarantee of a dividend. Some companies doesn't have a specific dividend that they can provide. Some do promise dividend, but it's minuscule. So we're going to tag that as risky investment. I'm actually up 24%. However, already out on the Philippine stock market. I actually didn't have any holdings right now. But I do have the eToro, which is 10, and I'm actually up 24% at this moment. The only good thing regarding eToro is that you can copy the trade patterns and investments of a different high performing traders in eToro platform. So basically, you can check their return rate, at the same time their risk profile. I recommend for you to take just 5 to 4% risk profiles for those traders, because you'll never know. Higher risk comes with higher reward, but are you sure that you are okay losing that money? You can say that I'm actually conservative to moderate type of investor. I actually don't like losing money. I always take calculated risk, which actually I'm if we're going to consolidate my overall investments as of today, I'm actually up 30%. So that's good. That's good. I'm not aiming for 50 or higher, but yeah, that's good. I actually don't have any mutual funds or unit investment trust funds or exchange traded funds right now, but I'm planning to do so. I'm planning to put in some money to this because these are, well, the returns are not guaranteed, but it's actually safe investment due to the fact that it's actually diversified. By the time that you're going to um, purchase a specific mutual fund or invest in a mutual fund, UYTF or ETF, it's actually been diversified and also being managed by professionals. So yeah, for government and corporate bonds, I do have the price bonds. I actually just purchased price bonds. You can purchase price bonds in bonds.ph. I actually have the app bonds.ph. You can see that icon here. That's the bonds.ph. You can purchase any treasury bonds that will be offered. So that's bonds.ph. Oh, no, it's actually bonds.ph. Yep. The retail treasury bond or the treasury, Philippine Treasury has actually partnered with Union Bank to create this. It's actually quite useful. Any Filipinos now can purchase and invest in bonds. So the return is minuscule. It's not that great because the return is just 3%. It's a fixed return, so it's 3%. If you can see here, the return is minuscule, but at least it is a safe investment. At the same time, it adds to the stability and foundation of my investment portfolio. Cryptocurrency. Yeah, I do have an investment in Ethereum. I'm actually up 10%. I haven't checked the price for it, Ethereum right now, but yeah, it actually cost me money to buy the Ethereum. This is just one Ethereum, 22,236. It's pricey, but yeah, it's good. Maybe if I can hit at least 15% or 16%, I'm going to sell that and reinvest that profit back to a more stable investment. So the best safe investment that I can see right now is the government back accounts, which is MP2. MP2 is a modified pag-ibig savings account 2, which is a product of pag-ibig fund. The maturity date or maturity period for this is actually 5 years. So basically, if you're going to put in your money to this government back account, you won't be able to withdraw that for over 5 years. So this is actually medium term investment for me, but I'm actually up 45%. The reason why I have this big return or big value to it, the fact that I am not actually withdrawing the interest or the dividends that I gain. So that's the power of compounding interest. You can definitely check the definition of compounding interest. Some say that the compounding interest is actually the 8th wonder of the world. Yeah, you can definitely read the Investopedia if you want to learn more about this. It's actually a snowballing effect. So the reason is you reinvest the interest or the dividend that you've got from the initial investment back, so you can increase the current capital of your money. And again, depending on the interest times that, yeah, you can definitely get a bigger reward. So I'm actually putting or saving up money to this too, again, so that I can do some cash injection. The reason for that is I need to increase that capital amount so that I can be able to get a leverage out of it and be able to make more money out of the dividend. It's actually 7.5 interest. Let me show you the calculations. So this is actually I actually deposit 1,000 peso per month. The return rate is 7.5%. I'm actually planning to cash inject some, a specific amount, like let's say 250,000, in order for me to leverage. Maybe May, I'm going to add or cash inject 250,000 on May next year. And if you can see here, I can definitely increase the dividend payout to 113,167. So at the end of the year, or the maturity period of 5 years, so that's 2024. Oh no, it's actually 2025. So yeah, so from the savings that I have of 60,000, I can definitely make a payout of 167, due to the fact that I just did some cash injection, and also I'm going to receive that cash injection back. I'm planning to put my Christmas bonus or my year-end bonuses to this. So cash injection here, cash injection here, cash injection here, cash injection here, so that I can be able to reach at least 500,000 by October 2025 for this investment alone. At the same time, for this investment portfolio loan. So I'm going to remove that because I haven't put in the cash injection. But as you can see, the returns are pretty great. It's actually quite big. I'm actually up 45% of that investment, so that's good. You can learn more about that on their website. You can go to the website of Pag-ibig Fund. Yeah, MP2 savings account. For those of you who have Pag-ibig savings account, yeah, the retirement fund that they have is actually 20 years maturity, but this MP2 savings account is 5 years maturity, so I can still enjoy that. And of course, preparing for the future. I'm not just preparing for next 2 years, I'm actually preparing until my 60s. So that's thinking way ahead of the line. And you can just follow the instruction. It's actually pretty straightforward. Next one is crowdfunding. You can call this angel investment, or what do you call this? Venture capitalist. The fact of the matter is, you can only call yourself angel investor if you have a specific net worth. So in the US, you actually need to meet 1 million in Philippines. Yeah. So we're going to check, in order for you to be called legitimize an angel investor, you need to be registered with SEC and have at least $1 million. So translate that to peso. So that's angel investor. Same thing for venture capitalists. You actually need to be registered and be able to have the specific net worth. The reason why you actually need to have a specific net worth is that, you know, not everybody can be an angel investor. You actually need to have the money to run this. Crowdfunding, most especially for Republic.co, is actually a crowdfunding. It's a voluntary crowdfunding platform. I haven't invested to crowdfunding crowdfunds due to the fact that it's too risky. If we're going to check the startups, since this is a startup companies, it's given that there's no specific returns and they are not yet established, but they do have the product. So what's the reason why they aren't registered yet, or public yet? Maybe they're running out of money, I don't know. But if you're going to check carefully, there's no specific ROI or return of investment. Yeah, there are perks, but those perks won't mean anything if there's no guarantee with regards to the return. Because the reason why you're actually investing is to grow your money, not to gamble with your money. I have nothing against crowdfunding. I'm actually looking to investing to a specific real estate called Nectar Tulum in Mexico. This is what I'm talking about. If you're going to invest, you need to make sure that there's specific return on your investment, or ROI. So that's 9.5 dividend per year. Their estimated target, which is the IRR, is 21.25. This is a little bit unrealistic. This I can deal with, but this is unrealistic. The thing is, once they were able to sell this, and I'm still holding the, let's say, share, if there's any share, I'm still going to profit with that, apart from the annual dividend that I'm going to receive. So yeah, I haven't decided it yet. I'm actually looking for specific details like revenue or net profit, something like that, but I can't find any. Yeah, I can definitely read the profiles of this company, the specific offering that they have, the location, market data, the plan, their prospectus. But what I need to see is the number for the return of investment and their net worth, or net profit margin from their previous projects, because you can definitely tell if they are succeeding in their game if you can be able to check their net profit margin. Yeah, this is only the sound investment or sound crowdfunding for Republic.co. There's not much to it. Some of the startups here aren't promising anything. Yeah, there's a lot of perks, but what about returns? I'm here for my investment. This is not a charity. So I really can't find a specific details about their returns and shit. Let's check this upshift. Maybe we can find no. Let's check for sold out. Maybe we can find right here. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. You can be able to judge if they're going to succeed on their business by the numbers, because source of funds, they have loans for over 1.1 million, investors 250, Republic investors 107, which is crowdfunders, which is Republic.co is a crowdfunding platform. Yep. So they have total fund of 1.4. The use of the fund, working capital, returns 10% of the project profits. 10% is realistic. Okay, so it's a real estate, and that's the reason why it's sold out quickly. And the hold period is just 1 month, or I mean, less than 12 months, so basically a year. Fix and flip. It's a good crowdfunding investment. I think I wasn't able to see this. I must have skipped this, but this is actually good. If they are still open to accept investment, I think I'm going to invest because of the 10%, and of course I've seen the numbers. I've seen the returns. It actually looks good. It's pretty realistic. But are they sure that the sale price is actually 1.8 and will be able to meet the 1.8? Because the property acquisition is 1 million. I hope there's a chart. Real estate sector 2020. Let's hope that this is not another bubble on the US. I actually need to see the chart. Yeah, so this is how I actually do research. We actually need to base the decision on facts. But if this is still open, if I were able to invest in this, I can definitely put up money to this, since they have facts written down on their paper. It's not just, you know, it's actually a sound investment. 10% return of that is good. So yeah, I haven't put in some money on that crowdfunding. I'm thinking so. Next is peer-to-peer lending with or without collateral. Haven't received any yet, but yeah, it's just a small amount. Haven't received that payment, so it's actually 100% loss at this time. But that 100% loss doesn't actually matter because I have these. Okay, let's move on to peer-to-business lending with collateral. Sidon is actually quite good. Um, these are actually small and emerging businesses that needs crowdfunding, mostly real estate and some established business that needs capital and loans. So the return is actually good. I put in just a small amount of investment to this just to test the water. I were able to receive this after a year. So this is 1 year. Maturity, this is 6 months. Capital is small platform for agriculture. So basically you're going to lend money to verified with collateral individuals who's actually planting or focusing on agriculture such as rice, corn, or vegetables. The return isn't much. It's just 4% or 3.5%. It's not that huge, but it's actually a safe investment since there are collaterals. If they default on their loans, you're still going to have those money back, but it might be delayed for at least 2 months, 3 months. Capital actually offers 11% fixed interest rate, or some does offer 16. I've seen 20, but those are fully funded, so I can't invest in those. So yeah, here's the overview of the investments that I got. The best by far is the MP2, the government back accounts. Goddamn 45% return. Holy shit. So illiquid assets. Illiquid assets is properties, other things that you can convert to cash. I was able to sell and make profit on something. So that's 27.27% for a liquid asset return. Yeah, gold coin. I was able to purchase the gold coin on a website or Singaporean website. I didn't sold it yet. I'm actually just saving it, to preserve the asset. This is actually considered as a safe investment since it's a tangible object. Yeah. Right. So business ventures. The fact of the matter is, I put up our point IT solutions with my um, friends, the best of friends that I have, last June or May, I think. Um, I manage all the investment. I'm actually handling the money. Um, the total allocation that I put in on this sole proprietorship is 30,000. So this is actually the latest operating cost. So from the servers to Microsoft to, I think I haven't added yet the registration and the fee. So as of this moment, the total assets is or remaining total assets is 24,761. But we're still in the development. It's end of the year and we haven't finished anything. Yeah. So the main reason why I created or formed our point solution in the first place is to test the water. I just need to know and test what specific business structure that I need to put in, because sole proprietorship is actually quite dangerous due to the fact that the owner and the business is one. There's no separation of identity. So if ever that there's a sue, you're actually are 100% liable. So the creditors can definitely pull out some of your personal assets, which I don't like. I'm thinking to convert this to an OPC some point in time, but as of now, it's still in the development phase. We're not done yet, and we haven't released anything yet. We do have the platform, but yeah, we're still lacking a lot of things. The other one, the limited partnership, I actually do have current deals going on. We'll be launching on 2021 next year, or perhaps 2022 if the development is not that fast, but we're aiming for 2021. Limited partnership is that the main reason why we choose limited partnership, it's because of, we need to limit the liability that the other partners have. So I'm not actually one of the original or general partner. I'm just a limited partner on this. So I'm only liable on the investment that I put in into this limited partnership. I'm not actually part of the decision making, so I'm not called as a general partner. The general partner is actually the one who's managing the business or making the decision. So I'm just what do you call this? Investor? Yeah. General partnership. I do have one. This is actually on the go planning. She's a girl and this is a boy. Yeah, this is with Kuya and this is with my high school batch. So we're actually planning to form the general partnership due to the fact that every decision making needs involvement for the both of us. So we're actually planning to split the investment. We're aiming to launch this on 2022, but I think we can do this next year. So yeah, one person company. This is still on planning, but we'll be registering this soon to SEC. So OPC, it's a one person company. I actually own this, so I think there shouldn't be any problem. I'm not going to reveal the investments and the name of these business ventures yet because they're not yet live. These two isn't actually registered yet. We're planning to register this to SEC next year, hopefully after pandemic. I'm actually going to register this too at the same time. For this, I'm not part of the managing, or administration. I'm just a investor. So yeah. But hopefully we'll launch this on 2021. So more profits, more revenue, to say the least. but everything is still on the works. I'm not so sure on when we can be able to finish this, but yeah, still on the works. So yeah, this is the current total capital or investment that I've put up, and I'm actually up on this 30%. I'm not going to show you the net worth. I'm not that well off. I still need 5 years or 10 years to come. So yeah, as you can see on my spreadsheet, I actually track and calculate everything in order for me to make the best decision. So yeah, that's it. Current investments done. Next topic here is cook deals and do the work. Yeah. You actually need to spot different investments, potential investments, potential businesses. You actually need to do the work, research about it, talk to the person who's actually knowledgeable on that specific topic. Everything that can be worked on and that can be that we can create business on is actually a good idea. From real estate, retail, selling stuff, you can also make profit out of it. Investments are a working experiment on my theories and plans to reach my goal. This is actually true. All of the investments that I have right now, the business ventures that you saw on the spreadsheet, and the properties or the illiquid assets that I have is actually a work in progress and experiments on the plans to reach my goal. So I might change the investment portfolio that I have. Maybe if I'm well off, I maybe change that to I might be switching to be an aggressive investor instead of being conservative or moderate. Yeah, that would depend. It would really depend on the performance, but I think since you've seen the performance of the investments that I have right now, it's up 30%. That is good. I'm not. The loss that I have is only this shit. So. And yeah, I track everything from expenses and income, revenue, all shit in this cash flow. So I actually track by quarter. So every 3 months, I actually create another sheet for me to track the performance from specific quarter. So it's actually end of the year. It's actually quarter 4 or fourth quarter. That's the reason why I'm tracking this. Maybe you're asking, why would you track your investment, something like that? It's too tedious. Why are you tracking numbers and whatnot? The fact of the matter is I want to create a chart of my portfolio. So year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and see the current trend. I need to see the numbers and the chart to go up. I'm not just basing on the current returns, but I need to see the performance and the capital that I put in. I need to see that there's actually a change on the investments that I had. So basically that's the reason why I put in this businesses. But yeah, if we're aiming to be more successful down the road, we need to track everything. Alright, so we're almost done. Books to read that I recommend is that I actually read this book when I was working with Sitel in Baguio. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This is actually a mind-changing book that I've read. This is where I got the cash flow quadrant. This is actually quite interesting perspective. So basically, there's 4 quadrants: the employee quadrant, the self-employed quadrant, business owner, and investor. Maybe some of you might want to enter investor quadrant as early as possible without going through employee, self-employed, or business owner. The fact of the matter is, unless that you are born with big inheritance, with the money on your back, you really won't be able to. So the plan that I have is to be an employee while having a specific business that I'm trying to run. And the reason why I do have the deals that we have with limited partnership and general partnership is to create this business owner thing. And as of this moment, I do have this. So basically, I'm pulling the money out of my employment. I'm using my employment as a cash cow to fund this, and this. And I'm actually getting returns too on this, so I can fund this and this. You see the point? If you know chess, life is actually a big chess game. Game of chess. You actually need to learn how to play it. I'm not saying that I'm actually winning, but at least I was able to produce a sound and solid investment portfolio. Maybe you're saying that these portfolios that you have, or these investments that you have, is actually quite boring. It's boring because you'll need to wait 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, or 10 years before it matures, or before you can be able to reap the benefits. The fact of the matter is, it's better to have safe and sound investments rather than risky. At least I am guaranteed with the return of investment, but at the same time, I can add in some high risk investment without worrying that I'm going to lose everything on that one investment. I'm not playing gambling investment, I'm playing calculated risk. And the fact of the matter that I do have the emergency fund. This is actually, it's like a cushion or spring that, worst case scenario, if everything that I invested is actually gone in one shot, at least I can still be able to live here in Manila for at least 6 months or 8 months without having a job for that period. I hope that that scenario will not going to happen, but that is the purpose of having an emergency fund. Yeah. The other one is Art of War by Sun Tzu. After reading The Art of War of Sun Tzu, I actually realized that you can actually apply this to any aspect of your life. This is actually the first time that I've shared this info regarding my financial. I'm not too keen on sharing this stuff, even with my parents. I do share some with my friends that about the investment and shit, but my father always told me that you should not reveal all of the knowledge that you have. You can share some, but you should not reveal all. So I think he actually also read the book too, The Art of War. You know, the fact of the matter is, I actually entered the stock market earlier than what I told with my friends. It's not actually lying, it's just having an advantage. I like actually to be underestimated so that they won't be able to know what I'm actually doing. So basically, I'm just going to talk about these kind of investments after I've got a return. Alright, yeah. Art of War. Show them that you're broke. Pretend to be broke, even though that you're not. Oh. God damn it. You know, if you have the time, I suggest you to read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It will change your life, actually. You're going to realize that there's a lot of potential that you can do and take advantage of. But if you're the kind of person that isn't into books, or reading, there's an audiobook or there's a summary in YouTube. You can watch the YouTube video. There's actual summary. And if you read the book, please don't TLDR or too long didn't read. Just read. God damn it. Alright, last topic is reward yourself. So if you're working in a corporate job, you have these investments and you got returns. You need to enjoy the little things. You actually need to reward yourself first. You don't need to deprive yourselves with too much budgeting. Well, you can live frugal, you can be thrifty, but for example, you need to upgrade your computer because you've been using that for 3 years or 2 years. Well, if that adds value to your life, go ahead. So basically, rewarding yourself like eating good food or some shit. At least, that's actually what my father always says, that you don't need to be you don't need to limit the food that you eat. You actually need to enjoy as much as you can, as budgeted as you can. Maybe I'm just cheap. Yeah. Yeah. Reward yourself. For once in a while, you need to buy watch, you need to buy phone, you need to buy this and that. Yeah, basic stuff. Alright. So basically that's it. That's the overall shit regarding the investment and shit. I think I need to copy. Oh no. Yeah. So I'm not going to do some gaming stuff right now. I'm actually researching on something, it's actually pretty interesting to me because it's actually a missing market here in the Philippines. A close friend of mine, or yeah, because he's actually a friend of my acquaintance or close friend way back in college. We're actually talking about this system. It's not actually a system, it's actually a gap in the market that we can fulfill. So we're actually deciding to, you know, build it, and at the same time register it with the SEC, so another company. Hopefully we can return some good profits by 2021 or 2022, but as of this year, most of the business ventures are just stale due to the fact that we do have coronavirus. We really can't do much, but yeah, we'll have to work on it. Alright. It's actually quite funny that maybe some of you who've watched this video had actually, well, if you have the returns in your investment, why you just don't quit your job and enjoy life, retire early? Well, the fact of the matter is that return from my investment, the 30% return of 139,606 isn't gonna be enough until my 60s. So I need still to work even though I have this return. So that's the fact of life. You actually need to hustle. Can you check this out? Okay, can you be able to see my wallpaper? It's actually hustle anywhere. So anytime that I have this idea, I actually write it down to my phone. In order for me to remember that, I transfer that to my journal or notebook. Yeah, so that's it. And come on, if you're going to retire early, what's the point of life? You need to have this thrill, this adrenaline. You actually need to make more. I actually want to reach the status of Lucio Tan. Lucio Tan is actually a Filipino billionaire. Net worth by 2020 is 3.5 billion. That's dollars. If you're going to convert that to peso, that's way bigger. So he started as a janitor, actually, from rag to riches kind of story. Even though for Henry C, actually these kind of businessmen actually started from rag to riches. Personally, I wasn't able to finish college, but I think the knowledge that we can get from the internet nowadays is plenty, so that I can hustle my way up and be able to at least succeed. Hopefully, with the hard work, dedication, persistence. Yeah, I think we can do it. With the help of God, hopefully. With the guidance of my father, RIP. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, don't you like it to have $1 billion on your net worth? There are, you know, everybody has a money, but there are only 1 to 5% who has millions and billions in their bank accounts. I'm actually working my way up to million. I have 6 digits, but I actually don't have the, most of my money is on investments. So, and the fact of the matter is, these investments, or some of these investments, are illiquid. I really can't switch this to paper money immediately. I need to wait. The eToro is actually liquid because I can withdraw that from time to time. These are all illiquids due to the fact that I really need to set a market in order for me to make a profit for this. And this, most special, these are illiquid. Well, maybe not for our point because I still have the money. But yeah, we actually need to plan and be specific on our plans. It's actually Psychology 101 too. I don't know if well, way back in college we took Psychology 101, but after entering the current corporate job that I have, during training we actually have this Psychology 101. We actually look at the different types of successful businessmen like Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, something like that. The reason why they succeed is that their persistence, at the same time they actually work like it's the end of the world. So whenever they work, they actually give in all their best, and at the same time they persist. Elon Musk has actually had multiple occasions that SpaceX is going to bankrupt, but he's able to pull it off, and until now they're still succeeding. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, if you have a lot of money, it's not just money that you have, it's actually respect, power, and legacy. Most especially if those business will going to change the world. So yeah. Well, I think that's it for now. Yeah. Again, from the Psychology 101, in order for you to do that, you actually need to be specific. I find it helpful because being specific on my investment, I was able to narrowly trim the good ones from the bad ones. I was able to build a stable portfolio instead of just a mediocre portfolio. Oh yeah. Well, I think that's it for me for this stream. I think we're into 2 hours and 36 minutes. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.